Yo, did you guys ape some broccoli this morning? You eat your broccoli. You eat your veggies.
What a name
for his dog. Yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy that the world's wealthiest felon, first thing he does when he comes out of prison is drop a meme coin. It seems to be the common theme of not just crypto, but of anyone who has any type of credibility in the world.
It's crazy, man. But the thing is, like, he didn't even drop his own coin, right? He just dropped the name of the dog. I mean, it's like, wow, that's I don't know, man.
Wow,
people
rookie
like,
moves, CZ.
People were just like, please just do the contract so we don't all get rugged on the 800, you know, fake dog tokens or dog tokens that don't win. You know, it's like, oof, I don't know, man.
So there is
dog too.
What'd you say?
It's like a pretty intense dog. It's a Belgian Malinois. It's like a high-level security dog, like super trained. So he's rolling around with a private security team.
Oh, that's what I got in my backyard too, man. Got the
really? No way. Adam's rocking. That's
killer, dude.
You got a broccoli out there? His name's Broccoli.
Lex is a badass. Let me just tell you, bro.
Let's go.
He's the smartest motherfucker in the house, bro.
Yeah, those dogs are nuts.
Okay, so it does appear that there is a winner in this. It's $45 million. There's only 400,000 in volume though, which is kind of crazy for something that's at 45 million already. Is this the fake one? Is this the real one? This is the one that has the highest market cap, but it seems like the website keeps breaking. So,
I mean, you just look at it's so sketch. Those are I mean, if you're in the trenches, you know, it's so sketch, bro. Like, you know, 50% of that supply could be controlled by one dude, and then he just rugs the entire thing. You know, it's sketch, man. Sketch.
Hey, I don't know, but this website 4.meme, the smart thing for CZ, obviously he owns like 60% of the BNB supply. So for him, he just needs to get more users over to BNB. I don't think I've ever purchased something on BNB, to be honest.
I mean, just to think about, you know, how yesterday we got the news that they basically sold all their assets, right? And today he launches this. I mean, this site I think's been up for a while, right? But, you know, bringing the activity, the attention, people have to use BNB. I mean, dude's not smart, or dude's not dumb, I should say. Dude knows. It feels like he knows exactly what he's doing here.
I don't know. All of the attempts at a pump fund competitor on a different chain have all fizzled out, like very quickly. I think the only one that's had any type of traction is actually the AI agents one called Virtuals.
Yep.
And that even just launched on Solana like earlier this week.
Yep.
But CZ's the goat, man.
It's hard to get runners, man. It's hard to get runners, but CZ's got a fat bag. And if he supports runners over there, I mean, you know, could get some really interesting volume and stuff.
Chris, is that a new microphone I see?
No, it's the same one. Just threw an Emblem sticker on it. It's pretty fresh.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's good, bro?
Yo, Adam, what does that mean? The tweet by Kyle about core connections.
Oh, for bells?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I think he's just saying not enough people are running full nodes. You got to spin up your full node again, man.
I love that this guy always comes on stage and just completely inserts bells into every conversation, no matter what is being
talked. Are we
talked.
going to be trading broccoli on bells, bro?
No matter what is being talked about.
No, it's just like, what the heck is going on? Does that mean only 2 people are running nodes? Like, that's concerning.
I have no idea. No idea what that means. He's saying he's only seeing 2 nodes, but I can't imagine that's it. That's pretty much impossible, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah, because
sure are you running your full node, bro? You got your laptop?
Oh, I'm not.
Dude, that's what he's saying. Come on, man. Do your bit, dude. Come on, man. Spin up your node. I'll have to fire
I do wonder if we have enough users for another crime season on Binance. Can the industry handle any more crime? I don't know. I don't know if it can.
Well, look at like all the competitors that have popped up. So there was like an XRP like meme season that lasted a total of what, 24 hours.
Yeah.
You had the meme coin season on base lasted maybe a few weeks. I think that's like the only one. I mean, even Odin.fun, right, which we're a big supporter of. I've been looking at it recently.
That was like 24 hours, man.
Like a day. I know they're going to still continue to grow, but I was looking at the stats recently. I mean, even here, I'll pull it up on the live stream. There's been like 5 tokens launched in the last like 12 hours or so.
I mean, we were wondering where the Pump.fun was the most successful app of the year by far, hands down, not even close. We were wondering why they didn't pop up on any other chains. Finally, they began to. If anyone can pull it off, it's CZ. It's always been the East versus West. He was the first one to kind of clone an EVM chain. You see how much copying goes on in China and the East in general from US products. And they're just the best at it. It's just part of their culture. They're really, really good at getting high level copies out to the market that are actually pretty successful, at least good enough.
I think about it. I think it was Art Chick who put out a tweet, and it was like just the depth. Like there's a lot of activity on Solana, but the depth of activity is super. Like it's super light. Like even the big meme coins that are running like on a particular day, like one of Portnoy's meme coins or whatever, the liquidity depth is like it's like a couple million. Like that's it. And so it's just basically all the liquidity is jumping from one coin to another, to another, to another, where basically the whole market is like $5 million. And it's like, you know, so that's where the activity is, but there's no real money. There's not like this huge depth of money. It's just jumping from one to another, to another, to another, trying to like, you know, get the bag, but you know, just gambling on this super, and that's why nothing can last more than 24 hours. It just moves on to the next. So
I mean, look at this chart. Look at this chart already. So I think this is the winner for broccoli. $34 million market cap right now. Looks like it got up to 400 million, but it's literally straight up to 15 minutes, then straight down to 30 million. And it had $66 million in volume in about 30 minutes. And it looks like it's pretty much dead already.
I mean, like, what are the odds that thing sits over $35 million, right? Like tomorrow, I'd put money on it that tomorrow it's going to be at 15 or 10, you know, it's just, there's no staying power in this market. And I don't know where, you know, I don't know what we do from here. It's just like, this is what we can't do this forever, right? I mean, this may live forever, this type of activity. But this can't be everything that crypto's about. It just can't be. It's madness at the end of the day. Like, yeah, it's just madness.
So there's a CZ's dog. There's a CZ's dog on Sol that's also pumping a little bit. It looks like it's a little manipulated, that one. Let's see, CZ's dog. So this is last. There's a few people who are kind of manipulating this stuff.
Totally, man.
It's crazy how much of a cesspool this is. Like this one right here is 2 million liquidity, only has 1 million in volume, but it's at a $300 million market cap, probably because it was all sniped and bundled already. I mean, the question is, what's next? It's what's happening to the trenches right now is very typical to what people would say in 2017, where it was like, you wait for the bounce and short the corn, right? That was kind of the philosophy for the last 2 cycles. But now Bitcoin is on its own. It seems like Bitcoin's kind of broken away from the pack. Maybe that's because of the ETF inflows. Maybe that's because Michael Saylor is propping it up. But the Bitcoin bounce or the Bitcoin bounce is actually kind of consolidated. It hasn't really gone down. And it seems like Alts are kind of on their own at this point in time. So the question then becomes, what happens to the trenches? Do meme coins continue? I do think so. But is there any other catalyst here in the near future?
I did see a good corollary where it was like during the .com bubble, everyone, you had high overhead to kind of build a website, a .com. And then it kind of got easier and easier. And they started launching .coms for literally everything. And then that kind of led to the peak of the bubble. And that's kind of the same thing that's happening here. It was difficult to create these tokens for the last 5 years. You had to have some high overhead, pay $10,000, $20,000 to get them complete. Then Pump Fund launches, and it kind of eviscerates the whole market because everyone's launching a token for everything. So I thought that was like a pretty prescient kind of comparison.
Yeah, it's interesting. Honestly, the ease of doing it, I'm stunned it's last this long, right? But it has moved into this, just like this is a pure attention play. And if you can know what Dave Portnoy is going to tweet 30 seconds in advance, this is like the first time in history. Like you can make a year's salary in 5 minutes. Like in that way, it's amazing. Because for people who think they can see the future, like if you can see 5 minutes into the future, you can make $50,000 right now, right? And so in that way, it's like there's this really fun gambling aspect to it that I don't think it's going away. Like I think that is really fun. I like it. But still, this can't be everything they crypto. Like the attention span of it is it's so fucking short. It's just, I mean, Portnoy tweeted about one this morning. It's already dead. It's like in an hour, it's dead, completely dead, like to zero dead, right? And if you weren't the first person to get in, you're done. You're toast. Everybody else got toasted. So I don't know. I don't know if we've seen this before, because even with like to Chris's point, which is a good one, like with NFTs, it took a while for people to figure out how to launch them and do that sort of stuff, and it was still complicated, a little bit hard, This is here, but this is stuck around, which is surprising. Which tells me it has like infinite legs. But yeah, I don't know how we get out of this thing. How do we get out of this circle?
With meme coins, I found it kind of interesting, the progression of where the only runners that are really happening are through the live streamers. Like there's a few different people, whether it's the kind of like the thread guy crowd. There's one like Jake Soul and a few of these others who are continually live streaming. And it seems like every day they hit a runner. And I think it's like this combination of people watching them, plus people also copying their wallets. And so you kind of get this amplification effect to where these are pumping live on stream to make it look like they're finding these winners, but really it's people just kind of waiting on them to kind of sign off on a token. I've seen a few people talking about Frank, about this around like Frank's wallet as well, because he has a doxed one, is that the meme coin trading now is not actually about finding a runner. It's about finding the few wallets who buy the right one, which then signs off on all of this attention kind of around it. So where does that progress? I don't really know. I think the Zoomers have really commoditized this to a degree where I personally not going to be able to compete in this. Maybe you have like AI tooling who could kind of get ahead of the game. Maybe some sort of like predictive tooling, which we're kind of trying to build that with Agent Hustle, as well as kind of just like a better tool. But I think eventually something, has to give, or you have to progress. Like today, OpenSea announced OpenSea 2.0, which was public. It sounds like there was kind of a lot of disappointment in terms of the product, but people are very excited about the token itself. They went full EVM, where they listed 14 EVM chains. I saw a lot of people upset that Ordinals and Solana were not included, but honestly, it's a huge technical lift to add a lot of these. So I think it's easiest just to start with EVM and expand from there. It's probably what they're doing.
Yep.
They have native cross-chain purchasing, which I think means that you can purchase this with multiple types of tokens. See, like here on the live stream, you can choose pro mode or collector mode. What I really like is that you can actually set it to USD. This is something that we had talked for a while, is that if you're going to have these type of cross-chain NFT purchases to where you can buy a CryptoPunk in USDC on base, or USDC from any of these other L2s, right? Or purchase it with ETH or WETH or any of these other tokens, it's going to have to be listed in USD to kind of hedge against that volatility of the token, and to kind of make it a lot more sense and digestible. But I do think the interface is pretty good.
Yeah.
To me, not crazy amount of innovation here. Like added some tokens, right? There's farming. I think the farming meta is kind of dead. Like you'll get some participants, but it's not anything like it was a year ago. So it's really, you're kind of really just catering to like your power users at this point in time. It's really tough to garner more attention to farming, because it's kind of really only led to a handful of winners. But I don't know. Have you guys browsed through this? What's your first thoughts on OpenSea 2?
Who are the power users right now? Who the hell is using OpenSea right now? Like seriously, who's trading NFTs right now? Like I mean, I saw that they also said they're going to use other tokens too. So does that mean, we're going to see some, we're going to see meme coins on there too? I don't know, what that means. But obviously everybody wants this free money airdrop. I just think it's going to be just the biggest race to zero ever on that token, man. I just think it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to hold that one. I did see that there was a lot of kind of backlash that they copied a lot of the Blur tokenomics, and it looks like they actually copied a lot of the Blur interface too.
Yeah.
So there's just another Blur. Here's Blur round 2.
3 years too late. I mean, I did see the tweet from maybe not the CEO, but one of the top guys. He was like, we took it to heart. We trimmed our team. We got back in the trenches, baby, basically, which is great. But it's like, I don't know. And like he said, we're taking more risks. Obviously, a token is the risk, but it just feels like everything. They're too late. They're too late on everything. And I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like these guys have a chance. I mean, they'll go for years, decades, maybe, because they have so much money, but is this going to bring the new innovation? I just can't see it, man. I can't see it.
The thing that everyone's excited about is that they're going to heavily reward historical participation. Dear God, I hope that for all the sins of buying all these Mooncats the last few years, I could be repaid a fraction of that. That would be nice. Actually, my wallet was like a top, when I looked at it the other day, it was like a top 5,000 purchased wallet all time, and I haven't purchased an NFT in like years at this point in time. So how do we check?
What's the
there's a I don't have it on me, but there's a Dune dashboard where you could type in your wallet and it shows you like where you rank in terms of spend and as much. And yeah, it was pretty terrifying to see how much money I spent back in 2021 and 2022 on NFTs. But here we are today. So we'll see what happens. In other news, Story launched today. Another kind of EVM based, this is layer 1 in this situation. It's an IP. It's an IP based L1. It kind of doesn't really make sense to me in the beginning. Now kind of reading through, it's more catered to like AI, it seems like. I was able to claim an airdrop today. That was kind of cool. because I'm a yapper. So they rewarded yappers based on, I think, just overall yaps. So I was able to claim 350 IP, which comes out to, it's like $700. It's like $2 a story or an IP token. The market cap is 500 million. The FTV is about 1.5 billion. So it looks like they released about 30% of the token. There is a pretty large ecosystem. I mean, if you go in and look at some of the stuff that's here, maybe we'll browse through this for a second. But Chris, what's your thought on the world's largest IP blockchain? Do you think that there's some legitimacy? Do you think this is something that there's an idea, maybe they're too early, or can they nail this new idea?
I think that I think we talked with our team for a little bit. They have a cool idea. They're kind of in their own niche. It's just hard. Like, we have more chains once again than we do users, and more chains than we do apps. And the reason that that's the case is because that's where the incentives are. Everyone wants a big raise for an L1. You want an L1 or an L2 raise, but no one's going to use it. And so until all of these things stop getting funded, people are just going to start, keep building them out for no reason with no users, and sucking up a bunch of money when that money should be going to building actual apps and utilities and things that people can actually use. And so I think that it's just kind of back to the OpenSea argument, is that, like Adam was saying, it's too late. I mean, a lot of these chains are universal. Why do you need a dedicated IP blockchain? I'm not sure, when you can just do it on something like Solana or even Ethereum, or even maybe a more niche L1 that's a bit more mainstream, that actually has users. Like, how are you going to get users over there? Even look at the Abstract launch, which was a pretty hyped launch, and after a week, once again, you don't hear anything about it. They raise a bunch of money and you don't hear anything about it. How many more of these are we just going to do?
Infinite, apparently. Infinite, I believe. I mean, it is. I totally agree with you. I mean, I like the founder of this. I like the idea behind it. It's just, we've talked about on the show, I just think this is one of the toughest nuts to crack. And to think that you're going to be able to launch a chain, keep a bunch of tokens for yourself, and then the world's going to come on board onto your chain and put their IP on your chain. What are the odds? I mean, it's almost impossible, right? You'd need some sort of fair launch mechanism where people coming on the chain then own the chain, rather than you and your team keep 40% of the chain and, then try to attract people through marketing and stuff. It doesn't. Yeah. I mean, the odds were slim, even if they got the tokenomics like 1,000,000% right. This is a hard, almost impossible nut to crack, but I don't know. Jake, I'd love to hear about you said you were able to get you got some token allocation from this. How did you figure that out?
I just saw Whale Swoosh tweeting about how they were rewarding yappers, and there's been a lot of teams doing this.
Yeah.
Even Polkadot, who's been dead for years already at this point, is now throwing around $100,000 a week at yappers who are tweeting about Polkadot. Yeah, I don't know if you remember last year. I think it was last year, maybe the year before, where they paid, I think it was $8 million to 10 influencers who were tweeting about Polkadot. So now this is just more of a quantifiable version. This is why I'm actually pretty bullish on Kaido. I'm also incentivized to say that. So take that.
Kaido.
Take that with a grain of salt. But the idea of identifiable mindshare that you can quantify, to me, seems to be kind of where this is going, because if you're going to pay people in tokens, then you want to kind of get down to the direct measure of what the mindshare or influence of somebody is. And it's interesting because I tweet, probably 20, 30 times a day. Like, my goal has always been to tweet at least 10 original takes per day. It gets very tiring after a while, but my tweets are more volume based, because I tweet about kind of all over. I tweet a lot about Bitcoin, which has a smaller community. And then if anytime I tweet about something that's not Bitcoin, then the algo kind of deprioritizes it because it's not about Bitcoin. But I've always kind of just tweeted for me and for the businesses that I work for. Whereas some other users, they have, you know, if they stay siloed into this one kind of ecosystem, the algo can kind of boost them. So when you look at it, you'll see in the 24-hour in the 24-hour Yap kind of reward, you'll see accounts with 3,000, 4,000 followers popping up because they're hitting on kind of whatever the new thing is of the day. Like I wish this was around when I'd first started my account, or when I'd first started tweeting about Mooncats back in and historical NFTs in 2021. We'd probably be up there in the top like pretty consistently. So what I've noticed is that you have to get to be hitting these kind of like jackpot yaps, which to me seems to be about 250. It seems to be about 250 yaps per day, and they're giving out 25,000 yaps per day. That's like the tokenomics. So you're saying you're getting about 0.1% of the daily yap rewards. Is you have to be continually talking about whatever the kind of hot thing is.
Yeah.
But the most interesting thing that I found, and yesterday we were on stream when I minted the Mega ETH NFT or SBT, that Bread guy, who is kind of one of their key figures. I guess there's another person as well, the co-founder. This is this idea of like founder-led marketing, which is something we talked about when Adam and I talked about when we first joined Emblem, was that, you know, we kind of have to be the faces, and the majority of the stuff comes through our accounts, and then you save the announcements and stuff for kind of the main account. They took the same approach, but the approach was now quantified through Yaps and through Kaido, and that led them to raising 5,000 ETH because they were smart about it. And so I think this is kind of where the direction of the marketing is going for crypto. And Story just kind of led into that. They saw the success of the mint yesterday, and they said, hey, you know, we'll take whatever percent of the supply is, and we'll just reward the overall yappers. I think my account is ranked like 350 all time out of, I have no idea how many. And I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. Maybe once Yaps is tokenized and it's not just points potentially, but I just think this is kind of where marketing is going for crypto.
Interesting. How did you, like, I saw the site where you logged in, which is whatever. But when I tried to like connect my MetaMask or whatever, it says, oh, you're on the wrong network, right? Because obviously it's its own blockchain. How does that work?
You just change the network on MetaMask. It's a simple thing. It changed automatically. Like a lot of the EVM-based L2s have gotten smart to where it just does it for you. I mean, this is kind of what we're building in to Agent Hustle with the onboarding experience, that it's like 5 clicks and it does everything for you. Like a lot of these different L2s or EVM-based networks have to do the same thing. Even the applications on Solana have gotten to do this as well, where whatever you need a user to do, you basically just have them click and it will set it up for you. So it was pretty simple. I did have to, one thing I did find interesting is I bridged over some ETH to potentially sell the allocation. I haven't yet, but what they did is that the fees are in IP. So you don't even need to bridge over with. You could just sell it immediately. It says that they reserve one IP for the transaction for the allocation. So maybe that leads to even more insta dumping, or just people kind of using it because you don't have to bridge stuff over. But I was already just used to, hey, I have to bridge something over if I want to be able to sell this at some point in time.
Gotcha. Because I tried to, like, I don't know, for Yaps, I just put it on some like random Solana wallet. I didn't even, you know. And when I tried to connect my Solana wallet, my Phantom or whatever, when I saw the tweet about it this morning, it was like, oh, you know, we don't, Phantom doesn't, or whatever, my Photon was like, doesn't support that network. I was like, oh, well, I don't know how that works. So I'll have to figure it out later, I guess.
And MetaMask is clunky, but if I still put it down as kind of my main wallet because it supports all these L2 networks. And whenever there's a new airdrop or new chain, it's always EVM based to begin, and then they expand to the other networks just because that's the largest developer network. So I always just attach kind of that main wallet to it. Will it be successful? I don't know. I saw the term that they're running with is called IPFi, right? Which is, and Kaido is running with NFTFi. So you're getting all these kind of like, I guess say niche industries that are popping up. And kind of referring back to the beginning of the conversation, you want to be looking in these areas, these emerging ones, because this is where the next breakout's going to be, right? This is probably where the next, if you're, I would say if you're like a long-term trader, like you find in, if you think NFTFi is going to be big, then you're probably going to want to go long on Yaps, whether that's just tweeting or trying to buy the token or whatever they do next. If you think DeFi is big, then you're probably digging into that sector. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about RWAs again, which was something that was popular last cycle, or I would say a year ago. Remember we had the Courtyard guys on with put the Pokemon cards. Seems like RWAs is now transitioned more to money markets and some of the like TradFi stuff. And I see some large accounts talking about it now because BlackRock's involved. So if you think that's the next sector, then you want to try to go long on picking something there to be the next breakout. Because by the time it breaks out, one of these emerging sectors, you're usually too late at that point in time. And then you're usually just trying to play catch up with the number 2, 3, 4 winner, which generally, you know, only does a fraction of whatever the main winner is. Like, and so that's kind of where the value is. And I think during a bear market, like it's definitely a bear market for altcoins right now. This is where you should be looking in these type of sectors. I think like I started just tweeting a little bit more. I haven't changed my strategy in terms of tweets, but I've probably put about 50% out more. So instead of 10, I'll try to do 20 because I do think like that NFTFi, or at least Kaido specifically, is going to have legs. But you know, some of these other ones, IPFi, InfoFi, DeSci, you know, whatever Fi. I don't know. It's tough to say, but I think during this time with some downturn is what I like to call this developer season. So this gives time for developers to breathe and not be bugged every 5 seconds by the when crowd. Even like the agent hustle, when people have kind of started to you know chill out. And this is when the products should shine. So this is what you should be kind of looking for. My last big winner was BRC20 during this. Was everyone thought I was crazy. And you know, that's when I was like, oh, this is going to be big. Obviously kind of fizzled out and moved into other categories. But yeah, it's a good time to be kind of looking around for stuff.
What's next, Chris?
I mean, we're well on our way to tokenizing everything, right? That was always the dream. Let's tokenize everything. I mean, we didn't know that it would take this form, but it seems like we went through the high FDV, low float meta, that there was a lot of pushback there. Then we went to the fair launch meta, put all the tokens on the market all at once. But it seems that that's almost more predatory than the high float FDV, high FDV, low float, because now you have sniping, bundling, insiders, everything in between, all in every single one of these launches. And so, like you said, they last like 24 hours. So there's got to be some sort of in between. I don't know which category will be next, but I think that we're on the verge of another type of token launch kind of coming about, whether it's more ICO based, something like that, more kind of just, I don't know, maybe the pre-sale meta was one of the best because it was just send your ETH, send your soul, and let's get it going.
Wait, are you saying Ben.eth was ahead of its time?
I'm saying more people got a fair chance at making it on Ben.eth than they do in the trenches day by day. That's probably true.
What about like you know, Pumped Up Fund doing its own token and the revenue pushes back into the token? Like when's that ever going to happen? Is that ever going to happen? You know,
when it bonds, or what do you mean?
No, like for example, if you know, Pumped Up Fund, they've talked about doing a token. I didn't think they were going to, but it seems like they actually are. But rather than just do a pure meme coin, why not, you know, 20% of the daily revenue goes to buying back that token, you know, or whatever, to actually drive value to the token.
Yeah, I definitely think that that's like the future. That's what we're doing with Emblem, something of that sort, where, you know, your incentives are aligned with the community, because the more that your protocol is used, the more revenue that it generates, the more that you can give back to the users. And so I think that that's like the best use case for a token. It's just that nobody's using any of these products. So there's no revenue to push back into the community. And so pump.fund might be the only one that's able to do that at this point in time. But I think that in general, that's like 100% where this is going, without a doubt.
Yeah. One of the sectors that we're really bullish on still is the AI sector, which I do think is going to come back and have a second kind of arc, I guess you could say here. Right. We're kind of diving into this. We dropped our Agent Hustle white paper on it looks good, dude. We did a good job here. Of course, you know, the chat thought that this would just like mega pump it, which we already knew that once we launched this, no one was going to read it. But
yeah, I actually don't even know if anyone read the hustle paper.
I honestly don't think so, because a lot of the information of what people still ask is in this. But I like I'll kind of scroll down. Well, one of the funny things is one of the people in the chat was like, they said, can you turn this into a Git book? Because he thought the degens would read this. And I was like, to be honest, there was maybe 10% of the people were going to read it to begin with. I don't care if it's packaged as a Git book or a PDF, or it's on Twitter, or it's even the audio, which we're going to release audio here pretty shortly as well. Like, I don't think it really matters.
People literally, it doesn't matter. I mean, we knew this. We talked about it the moment people were like, when paper. And I was like, Jake, let's not even do it, dude. It literally doesn't matter. But, you know, you got to do what's in vogue or whatever. You know, people literally don't. I mean, they don't care. All people care about in this market is number go up. That's literally it. It doesn't, you know, if you're not doing that as a team, and what you realize is teams can't do anything for the price. Like, it's just, you can't. Dave Portnoy's bought $500,000 of his stupid token, and the market has dumped 90%. You know, people literally, he's like, I'm going to tweet about this for the rest of my life. People are like, sell all, fuck that shit. You know, so that's where we are. Like, it doesn't even matter. It literally doesn't matter. You have to basically transform, and you have to catch a new narrative, and you have to create something which the market gets enamored with, and everything else is bullshit. And that's just where the market is right now. And it's discouraging from a team that's like building something. But at the end of the day, like, what we have to do is we have to basically create a new narrative, create a new meta, lead into that. And, you know, that's what we're hoping to do with Agent Hustle. And we have an opportunity to do that, but it's fucking hard as fuck. But,
I don't think I've ever been as bullish on a product than what we're doing with the V2, to be honest. I think we've done a really good job at combining our experience with failed launches, you know, successful launches, what the industry wants, onboarding, adding some tokenomics to it, trying to really, you know, revive the token, but also to put volume, because in this market, the only way to get people to pay attention is to make the number go up, right? And it's like, so then you think, okay, how do you make the number go up? If people aren't reading things, and you know, news isn't really helping too much, right? It's like, you gotta make people buy the stuff, right? And it's like, okay, well, how do you make them buy it? It's like, you can force them to buy it, you can destroy the token, right? There has to be something where the numbers are changing. And so we've taken that into consideration, and we actually talked about it a little bit in the white paper. No one even read it, but we'll dive into it here. I pinned it to the top, and then we'll go into kind of the rest of the AI space kind of towards the end of this conversation. Going all the way down to the applications. One of the cool things we did here is we actually put it in Agent Hustle's voice. So this is actually the interpretation of him. Obviously, we spent, I think it took 2.5 weeks to put this together, from the time when we were like, okay, you know, we'll put this out. We basically we took the, you know, the vision is one section of what we want this to be. We took all of the kind of core features that makes up Agent Hustle himself, like the technology, what goes into the AI, what makes him special, and really tried to present it in a very simplistic way, because that seemed to be what everyone wants. Make it dummy proof, right? Make it as simple. Talk to me like I'm 5. So we tried to do that. And then we put it all out in a piece of paper, and we fed it to him, and put it in his own words. And so now he kind of understands really what's going on there. There are a little bit of technicals, but we're really going to save the specific tokenomics and numbers for more on the marketing side itself. But if you go down to the bottom with the applications, this is really kind of the most important point. Is there's a few key features, which is our Emblem AI wallets. This is what allows you to use the same wallet between Agent Hustle, the website, and then Agent Hustle, the Telegram bot, which will be released later as well. I haven't really seen this feature anywhere to make it a multi-platform wallet. Even I think with Photon and some of these, you can do it. Ours is a non-custodial wallet. Theirs is a custodial. So there's a little bit of a technical difference, but really trying to make that fluid and frictionless. So whatever hustle-based applications are built, you can use the same wallet going between all of these, which we thought was very, very important to do, especially as we go multi-chain. Right now, we're launching with just Solana, but we will be adding Bitcoin and EVM support as well. I think Bitcoin will be the next one, and then kind of EVM, because that's kind of where our edge is. So what we kind of classified this into multiple things. So Hustle Hub, which is agenthustle.ai. This is where the first V2 upgrade is going to come from. And we've been teasing a lot of the stuff. I've been teasing it from my account as well, kind of the interface. There's multiple components to it in terms of, there's a rewards tab, there's a balances tab, there's an LP tab, a swaps tab, and there's a few other surprises that we will be kind of launching as well. And you can also talk to them, right? So think of it as like a full in-house kind of DeFi platform with an LLM attached. But the cool part is that you can also, the same experience that you have on the website, you should be able to do on Telegram as well. Although Telegram has a little bit of a less technical option, so it won't be as fully encompassing as you can on the website, because obviously with the website you can have any data file, whereas on Telegram you're limited to certain types of data formats. And then the cool thing here, and this is I think what separates us as well from some of these other DeFi AI platforms, is that Agent Hustle himself is an agent, whereas some of these other ones is just a platform, right? And so Agent Hustle can then also be expanded to interact with other agents. So like on Twitter, once we have this enabled, he could go out and interact with, XYZ, AI, XBT, and all these other agents to then see what the output is. The crazy thing about Swarm technology I've learned is that no one has any actual idea of what the output will be if you have two agents interacting autonomously, and especially if you give them capabilities to transact, which we've given Agent Hustle a wallet. So the Swarm system is pretty exciting. And then obviously the more important thing is, right, how do you make the number go up, or what's the utility, XYZ. So in the white paper, we go in to talk about, the purpose and access of Tensorium. Think of Tensorium as kind of like the lifeblood of Agent Hustle. And so in order to perform different types of things, he needs to have that inside of his vault. So we will be utilizing time lock vaults, or just think of it as staking, is just the more simple way to call it. So there will be a staking component to this, to stake Tensor, to unlock certain types of things. And obviously if they're staking, that means that you have to purchase it. And then one of the cool things as well is what we called investigations. I guess this would be something similar to like a buyback program. But instead of this, Agent Hustle will be working, he'll have Tensor, and then we're going to put him out there to, build a portfolio value, or build a strong portfolio to then acquire more Tensor, right? So you have this kind of like automated buyback system. You do see this in like virtuals as well, but they have their buyback system a little bit differently, to where they're taking certain of the profits from the LP and rewards. And so, right, that's kind of how you get this like long-term flywheel effect. Obviously, can Agent Hustle be profitable? Can he build a successful portfolio? I have no idea, right? It's something that we'll have to test and see. But I think this aligns the users where if you're using the platform and having, if you're using the platform and you want this kind of like AI enhanced experience for not just kind of DeFi capabilities, but Shannon's also built it to where you can use Agent Hustle and Cursor. So if you're a developer, you can actually use Agent Hustle to code with. And so we're going to build things outside of just DeFi as well. But if you have users on the retail side using it, and then you also have Agent Hustle going out and, trying to create a successful portfolio, you can then create this kind of like closed loop, perpetual flywheel with a few other kind of things that we have is in mind as well. So it is exciting. It's a really cool endeavor. I've shown the demo to a handful of people who have looked at this, and they said that they like our interface comparative to some of the other kind of DeFi AI platforms. But the audience and the users are going to have to express that through either buying the token or through online.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome, man. The idea that once we add multiple chains, that this is like an AI agent to help you navigate crypto is just, it's such a no-brainer. And already the interface and stuff is super slick. I'm excited to get it in people's hands. Totally.
Yes, sir. And Sammy also promoted it today as well, the Hustle paper. So if you are listening to this, I would recommend retweeting it. Would be really awesome so that everyone can see about Agent Hustle. So moving on then to the AI space, the market cap is down to 7.14 billion. I think it did drop to, was it like 5 billion or 4 billion when we did have this conversation. Chris, I know you're bullish on AI. Have you been following the sector, or what's your take on it in its current state?
Yeah, I think that I think it's going to be one of the biggest crypto sectors. I mean, it's kind of an easy call because AI is a catch-all. It'll be kind of integrated in so many different things across the internet. But I mean, look at the number of agents tracked. That's up to almost 1,500. It was less than 1,000. It was like 800 at the end of the year, 2024. So, I mean, I'm super bullish on Agent Hustle. I love the interface. I love that we actually put out the white paper. I like getting back to those kind of startup feels and really nailing down the vision. And one of the best parts is it's not an empty white paper. The product's actually like 90% done or 80% done or something like that. So it's usable. It's going to be really cool in general. And then as far as just the broader AI sector, it's clearly a beta to Web 2 AI. NVIDIA is down 20 or 30%. There's going to be a lot of innovation coming from the real world AI sector. And that's extremely bullish for the crypto AI sector. What people aren't really understanding is that we're not building AGI here in crypto land. We're taking the commoditized AI compute and we're using it to power our AI apps. So the better and the stronger that they get in the Web 2 interface, the better and stronger that our Web 3 apps will get. And so I think that a lot of people are getting that. They're just kind of looking at the broad sector and saying, oh, you're not going to get the best web AI developers in the world to work on some of these things. It's like, that's not actually the goal of what we're trying to do, because those are already built out. You're going to find that in GPT-03 or, maybe DeepSeek round 3 or whatever it would be. So we're just going to use those commoditized compute layers to power our apps, and the stronger that they get, the more powerful that we get. So I think market correction is good for the AI sector. It's going to differentiate the builders from the LARPers. And I think that Agent Hustle is really going to start to show out once we go live with a lot of this stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very soon. Just I would say probably about 90% done. There's like a few features that they have to work on and hash this out. Looking at the market, you see the top 15. Wow, the top 15 is not even all $100 million market caps, which is kind of crazy because I remember looking literally a few weeks ago, I think the top 15 to get in the top 15 was like a $400 million market cap or something of that nature. And we're starting to shift now. It seems like some of the meme coins are starting to get washed out, and some of the more utility focused platforms or DeFi AI platforms are starting to take shape. The top 4 of the top 5 tokens are all different types of frameworks, or no, 4 of the top 6 are different frameworks: Virtuals, AI16Z, ARC, and FAI. And then you say the other 3 of the top 7 are meme coins, between Fartcoin, Turbo, and Toshi, I believe, is one as well. You come down, I don't know what Cheems is. AIXBT is like the leading KOL. I think AIXBT just like absolutely dominated the KOL space. It seems like most of the other ones kind of went to zero. I do know Zero Bro still out there somewhere, but it's taken a massive hit. You have, who else do you have? You have VVV, which is Eric Voorhees' platform, which is it's essentially a decentralized ChatGPT.
Wow,
Chain
140 million. That was that. People were like, "Oh, it's going to be 2 billion easy." Holy smackers!
Ouch. I think it went to 2 billion. I think it was there.
Wow.
You have Act, which is like a game, I believe, a virtual game of some sort. ChainGPT. Adam's a big fan of ChainGPT, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was the one I actually got on their platform. I'm just calling scam, guys. I mean, just all fake, man, all fake.
It had like 1 million followers.
You got 1 million followers on the Twitter, 0 use, 0 people actually following. You go in the Discord, it's all fake, 100% fake. It's just a fake upon fake, and then all they have is they're dropping other tokens and other. I mean, it's just, yeah. You just look at that and you go, wow, that's just Rug City all over the place. Be careful.
So then the latter half, so between number 11 and number 15, you have 3 DeFi AIs, and those are the top 3 in the sector. And I would say this is probably where Agent Hustle fits in, at least for the trading aspect here. And so Griffin's at 150 million. You have ChainGPT at 120 million, and then Hayanon's at 96 million. And again, some of the people I've shared the demo with said that they like our interface better than all 3 of these. You have Tensor that's at like 1.5 million. Obviously, we've gone through a bunch of changes, and some of these platforms are backed by very large accounts. I think Toli's been like a big backer of Griffin, and also I think the guy, I forget his name, has been building in Solana for almost since the beginning. So Tony, I think his name is.
Yeah, Placento.
He's like an OG Solana guy, so glad he's getting some credibility. And then Hayanon, the guy, also has just like a gigantic account as well. But I did try Hayanon out. You could do bridging and swaps through there. It's just EVM based. There's no Solana. But I did see that they got integrated into Binance wallet today. So the direction from what I see they're going in is getting Hayanon as a kind of bridging interface to where you go in and just say, hey, move ETH move my ETH from mainnet to whatever, and it just kind of does it automatically. So I think that is kind of a very useful. It's a little bit different from the kind of dashboard that we're building, but exciting, because it does seem like this sector is probably going to be one of the larger ones to take off. And I proposed this question the other day on Twitter, and maybe we did it on here as well. You look at these other categories. So meme is number 1 in the AI space at 1.87 billion. Frameworks 1.75 billion is number 2. And DeFi AI is number 3 at 870 million. And number 4 is Alpha, which is at 400 million. And 3/4 of that is AI XBT.
Yeah.
And then you look and there's 12 other categories. Again, this kind of goes into playing off from my previous conversation of what category or what sector do you think is going to be next? Because this is probably where you want to be allocating. There's things like TEE, Swarm, trading, music, gaming, dev tools, Launchpad, App Store, entertainment, etc. there's probably a bunch of categories that aren't even here yet or will be created in the near future. I haven't gone too much into these. There's the investment DAOs, but I'll pass this off to Adam. Maybe if you were a betting man, are there any other categories in the AI space that you find interesting, and that maybe you'd allocate to, or just ones that you've been looking at?
I mean, everybody wants an AI agent to trade for them, right? Everybody wants to set the AI agent free, and it just makes them money, right? I keep saying that's a pipe dream. I truly believe it's a pipe dream. I don't think that's really possible, because anything that actually works is only going to work if it's public, is only going to work for a brief period of time, till the VIG difference you're going to make there runs to zero. But that sort of interface, that mixed with the DeFi AI, I think we're going to land somewhere in there. I think that's the thing that's actually people are going to find useful, like really useful, across all these chains. Like even today, like whatever BNB goes off, I actually kind of would have liked to, like Chris is like, I almost did it. But if it's just available, if I can just do it, like people are going to want that. And so that's why, that's why I think we're all so bullish here on stage, is that we realize people want that. It's just not there yet, and I think the AI layer kind of is going to solve this issue. And obviously that's why we're super bullish, because we're going to have the multi-chain thing, available, and it's going to be able to be done. And, so that's why I'm bullish on that. But where it fits in that kind of DeFi AI trading, I think it's actually a kind of a combo in there.
What about you, Chris? What do you think? You're mega bullish on AI. What's the next emerging sector, or maybe a few that you find interesting?
I think maybe one of the most underrated parts about Hustle, and what I think is a big category, is just onboarding. And so if you look at the GPTs today, they're experts in surfing the internet, in interacting with the internet, whether you want to search for fitness or health or vacations and travel. It can point you in the right direction of all of those different aspects of life. And so obviously it'll point you in all the different aspects of crypto and Web3 and all of these different applications. And so when I think of like, what is Agent Hustle and what is he going to be best at, I think it might be just onboarding in general. How many people do you know that want to get into crypto, but they don't know what to do? They don't know the first step. They get a wallet, and then with the stage that the industry is today, what are they supposed to do? They have no idea. But then they can interact with Agent Hustle in different kind of ways, ask him different things. And he's dynamic, where we can kind of put different feeds on his interface that kind of point people to the right direction. So the biggest use case for crypto right now is trading on pump.fun. So what do? We put a feed of pump.fun so that these people can catch these tokens, or at least attempt to catch these tokens as they're coming about, and get people integrated into the ecosystem. What's Agent Hustle going to do tomorrow? Well, it depends what the industry is going to look like. And so he's going to be forever evolving and changing, and being able to interact on a personal level with memory, with multi-chain capabilities, and with like a more personalized experience that you can't get anywhere else in the crypto ecosystem today. So I think one of the biggest and kind of most profound use cases for agents in crypto is just being your personal expert and helping onboard the next XXX amount of users, because I don't think that exists today. And I think that that's like sorely needed.
Yeah, the majority of people I think there's a multiple higher usage of individuals across the world that are using AI over crypto. I've said this ad nauseum, but
like 1,000x.
Yeah, I think it's like there's about 50 million average crypto users across the world per month, and OpenAI alone has 200 million subscribers. So you could say between all the other ones, maybe there's 500 million people across the world, or even maybe 500 million or so people across the world who are using AI, which is 10 times higher. And so the majority of those who are going to be coming to crypto that are newer are probably going to be more familiar with AI than crypto, and it'll be much easier to onboard them if they have an interface, because they've gone through kind of the training of that, and maybe they're a little bit more of an expert in prompting, so they know how to get information out of an LLM that is reciprocal to whatever they're kind of engaging in. And that's the experience that we want to build. If I had to take a stab at it, I would say swarm technology, I think, is where I'm most interested. This is also something that Shannon, I think, is the most interested in, actually, is the kind of agent to agent
Literally
engagement.
The most blue ocean of like we have no idea what's going to happen in that space. Like literal complete blue ocean. Yeah. So that is fascinating, man. No idea how that's going to work.
And Shannon's
any coders out there, just build it, dude. It's like literally people are looking for something to work. And that's, yeah.
And we've had this conversation with them. I guess you say swarming in gaming seems to be interesting. Swarms, though, is the first technology through the door to gaming, because first you got to have these agents interacting, and then you have them in gaming, you have them interacting within some sort of field. So that's kind of the next level. And so Shannon's been using state machines to build out this swarm technology, which he said is like 50% done. And with swarms, this also leads to conditional based execution, which is where we think the Agent Hustle website has an edge. It's not going to be released initially, but if you have an LLM that you can say, hey, buy the next pump fund token that reaches $10,000, that reaches 10,000 market cap, and then sell it, at these 3 levels conditionally, then I think it evens the playing field between retail users and quants, because this is something Wall Street's been doing for decades at this point, but retail doesn't have access to that type of stuff. So if you have the conditional based interface, then you essentially get a little bit more of an even playing field against these sniping tools and all of these other things that quants are using, now developers are using. Eventually you want kind of everyone on this playing field, and then whoever knows what the edge is after. But then with swarms, I think that the theatrics of it on Twitter are kind of interesting. So we've been talking about this internally, is if you have Agent Hustle engaging on Twitter with other agents, but then he can execute transactions based off of Emblem team members who interact with them. What type of theatrics can you do on Twitter, right? Like, what if I told Agent Hustle to market buy 1% of the tensor supply on Twitter? Then you have these like people who are trying to front run the transaction live on Twitter, which gets engagement, and you see kind of this like positive flywheel effect of mindshare. I mean, AI XBT is literally the shining example of it, and I think that's only just the first foot through the door in terms of AI and mindshare on Twitter. Like, it's literally just him compiling information that exists out there and just regurgitating it. He's actually in all of the telegrams, and I know that for sure because I said something in the telegram about founder vaults, and then he literally tweeted it out like 2 minutes later, almost like word for word. So they have him in all of these different groups, probably all the primary ones, and this is where he's getting the information.
Yep.
And I think there's a few Telegram bots or Telegram crypto trading bot services that have also done something like this, where they call it like the alpha seeker, where it's, hey, if there's alpha inside of a Telegram and someone drops a CA, then try to buy that immediately with a X amount of supply within, the wallet that I have. If we can have that as well, then, you just even the playing field between the alpha seekers and the quants. And I think that's really what AI is going to be doing, is bringing all these tools to the average person to understand, and you don't need to understand any of the complexities on the back end.
Love it, dude. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's just a question of, is this like going to happen this year, or can it build up? And it feels like it's going to ramp quick enough for this year. Like that sort of thing's going to happen.
A lot can happen in a year, and you're in a totally different spot
in AI
than you would be here. And just in terms of using different tools, that's some of their best features, is that they're able to kind of use all of these tools for you. So instead of having 10 different crypto tabs, Rug Doctor, all these, bundle tools to check and see what's going on with these contracts and who's buying these tokens, Agent Hustle is able to use it for you, so you can consolidate all of these different tabs into a single kind of interface. And that's kind of the end goal for Agent Hustle, to include all of these tools, because number one, people don't know about a lot of them, so they're not able to use them because they can't even find them, and they're just not experienced like that. They're not at that level. And so we're going to bring everything into one interface and consolidate it into a single, easily transmissible kind of program. And Agent Hustle is your little agent that can help you walk through every single kind of aspect of the industry. I think that's hugely missed in the industry today. So I think that's one of the most bullish use cases.
100%, dude.
Yeah, I think so as well. One final note here, and then maybe we'll wrap it up, is last cycle, or I'd say, yeah, so 2021, the cycle was kind of like the utility cycle, right? At least whether it worked or not, people were trying out token gating, people were trying out all these different type of farming strategies and such. So it was utility for DeFi and for NFTs. This cycle, it's been the attention cycle. It's meme coins, it's launch pads, it's live streaming. I think next cycle is the intelligence cycle, where these AI agents and LLMs are really just leveraged into all kinds of different ways, right? What's the perfect formula? Like last cycle or this cycle, the perfect formula seems to be meme coins, pump fund, and live streaming is like the perfect match. What is it next cycle? Is it swarm technology plus Bitcoin plus bridging or cross chain? Who knows? I do think AI plus cross chain plus something is probably where the alpha is. Because if you can have an agent who can just tell you what the best yield opportunities are across all the chains, and then they do it for you, that seems to be like a huge advantage over anyone else, which makes everything else competitive.
Maybe it's just all robots next cycle, man. Like we're not even here. The show's being done by robots. Everybody, it's robots in, robots out, all robots. It's very possible, man. We just
I think that's it. I think that's closer to being it. I think the more that we go into DeFi this cycle, which I think we're going to get regulatory clarity about, the more we're going to automate it with these LLMs and these agents. And so I think that those are kind of one and the same. The more that we get deeper into DeFi, the more we want to automate it with more simple, sleeker interfaces. And I think Hustle's leading that charge.
Let's go, baby. Well, that's a wrap for today. Everyone who's here, I really appreciate it. You see the long-term vision of what we're doing with Emblem and Agent Hustle. And we're definitely attempting to execute on that. So the new platform should be live here pretty soon. We're doing our best to get it out as soon as possible. Devs are working literally every day. Shannon's been working on doing some major kind of infrastructure upgrades, which seems to be close to being done. 4 developers on the team working on multiple things. And once that's live, then you guys will see. And then I think Adam, Chris, and I, we're going to start doing some live streams with Agent Hustle probably later in the day to showcase really what he could do. And then everyone else can help us
and actually figure out what he can do, right?
Figure out,
thing, right? Yeah, like figure it out. Like we don't really know how this is all going to interface. We're giving him basically, he's got tools. We got wallets hooked up, and then it's like, what's going to happen? We're not really sure. That's really, honestly, it's super exciting, right?
Exciting. It's like he has the outputs, right? Because there's all these different mini apps, and then he responds to it, but the users have to put the input in there to get something. And so I think that's kind of where the magic is happening. So if you haven't retweeted the Hustle paper, please do so. That really goes a long way, as well as follow the account. We'll be back here next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. The week after, last week of the month, we're going to all be down in Denver for ETH Denver. So if anyone is in the crowd and wants to hang out, let us know. The entire team, this will be the first time the entire Emblem team will be in one spot. So really, really exciting. Appreciate it, everyone. A lot to look forward to. Just hold it down. It's a little rough out there, choppy waters. Don't chop yourself to death. Hold on to the long-term bags, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.